Today's video is an answer to one of the most common questions I get here on this channel. How long will it take for my ex to come back after a breakup? Hi guys, I of course am Brad Browning, author of the X Factor Guide. And as a breakup coach, I've heard this question thousands of times, so I figured it was time for me to make a video answering this question for a variety of different scenarios. Now, before we get into this, I want to say something here. You cannot rush this process. If you try to take shortcuts, you're really only hurting your chances with your ex in the long run. So if you're struggling to get through 30 days of no contact, think of how much worse it'll be if you have to spend the rest of your life alone. I know that's a bit harsh, but I think you know what I mean. So let's talk a little bit about the timeline. Now, 30 days is the magic number for no contact, but that doesn't mean your ex will always come running back to you on day 31, right? Chances are it's probably going to take a little longer than that. Now, after 30 days of no contact, you can begin the reattraction process. Now, this begins with a few harmless text messages, and eventually it escalates to in-person meetings, and after a while, you two are officially back together. But remember, this is a marathon, guys, not a sprint. Now, I know you wish your ex would be the one begging for you to take them back, and while that does happen often, sometimes you do have to make the first move. So I have to tell you, if it's been 2 weeks and you're afraid that you may have missed your chance for good, don't worry. It typically takes a couple of weeks for your ex to even begin processing the breakup. They're not going to just forget you overnight. Another factor is the length of the relationship. The longer that you two were together, the longer you'll be apart. So if you two were in a serious relationship for 2 years, don't fret if it's been a month or even 2 months since you broke up. This doesn't mean that there's no hope. Just that the more significant the relationship, the longer it'll take to process the breakup. Now, there's no rush here. The worst move you can make is to get back together for the wrong reasons. Now, this is very common for people who get back together very quickly after a breakup in order to avoid feeling, sad and heartbroken. You want this relationship to be real and not just a rebound. So let's get into some specific scenarios here. Chances are you're going to fall into one of these categories. Scenario number one, you dated for 6 months. You were blindsided by your breakup, but you get the sense that your ex wasn't entirely confident in their decision to end things. Maybe you saw one of my videos soon after the breakup and you immediately went into no contact. Now, this is one of the best situations that you can be in. Since your ex didn't end things because you made some huge mistake like cheating on them or snooping through their phone, there's not any bad blood here, and you can expect that after 30 days of no contact, you should be able to get back together with them after just a few weeks of reattraction. But in some situations, it could take even more than a month. Now, I'm sure that might feel like an eternity to you now, but trust me, you're still in good shape. The worst thing you could do right now is put pressure on your ex just to make yourself feel better. Scenario number two, you dated for, a couple of years. Your ex caught you cheating on them, and they threw you out on your ass, vowing never to talk to you again. Now, obviously this one is going to take some time, but believe me when I say it's not as bad as it may seem. In fact, the angrier your ex is, and continues to be, often the better your chances are. Now, I know this is counterintuitive, but just think about it. If your ex was truly over you, they wouldn't still be reaching out to you to tell you how mad they are. Now, obviously cheating is a huge deal that I don't want to minimize that, but it's more common for somebody to get back together with an ex who cheated than an ex who they're no longer attracted to. But it is going to take more than no contact for you to win them back in this scenario. It'll require you to apologize and make concrete changes if you want to get another chance with them. And even then, it'll take time for them to come around. So show them that you've changed in any way that you can. Obviously, keep as much distance as possible from the person you cheated with. Give your ex room to breathe and process what happened. And above all else, don't try to justify what you did or minimize their feelings about it. It's a long road back, but I do believe that you still have a fair chance of winning them back. Now, if you're looking for some guidance in this difficult time, you're in luck. I do offer one-on-one coaching services that you can access securely online. Just head over to breakupbrad.com/coaching to learn more. I've helped thousands of people in situations just like yours, and I've worked out a bulletproof system for winning back your ex that's actually backed up by years of research. Again, go to breakupbrad.com/coaching, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. All right, now let's move on to scenario number three. You dated for a couple of weeks and things didn't work out. And now you've been out of touch for, say a year, and you're wondering how much longer it's going to take for them to come back to you. Well, I'm sure most of you already know what I'm going to say here, but there are plenty of people who come to me with this exact scenario, so I did want to touch on it. Here's my advice. In this situation, you need to seriously begin the process of moving on. If you're determined to give it another shot, then stop waiting. Reach out to them directly to see if they're still interested. But honestly, don't get your hopes up. A couple of weeks isn't really enough time to build a significant connection with this person. So there's a good chance that this relationship is mostly in your head at this point, but it's always worth putting yourself out there just in case. If nothing else, this will let you know once and for all that you two are not going to they're not going to happen, so you can begin seeking out people who actually do want to be with you. In fact, in pretty much any scenario, if you've been apart for a year or more, then you probably want to stop waiting and start taking action. Scenario number 4, you dated on and off for a long time. And this breakup was just the latest of many, and you're not sure where you stand with your ex. Now, since you've had multiple breakups in the past, this means that they've been willing to take you back before. But everyone does have their breaking point, right? And this one can be difficult to sort out, but I'll give you one word of advice. Figure out why you keep breaking up if you want to prevent it from happening again in the future. Now, while it may seem like it's happening for different reasons each time, chances are there's really one underlying factor that's created this pattern. Now, if you don't know where you stand with your ex and you're looking for a more concrete answer, head over to breakupbrad.com/quiz and take my free quiz. It only takes 5 minutes, and it'll give you a personalized result that tells you your likelihood of getting your ex back and what methods you'll need to employ to make that happen. Again, take that quiz at breakupbrad.com/quiz. All right, and scenario number 5, you broke up 2 to 3 months ago. You didn't hear about the no contact method and instead opted to be friends with your ex. Now, this is not a great situation, to be honest. Being friends with your ex can transform the relationship that you two had into something entirely different. Now, you may think it's better than nothing, but unfortunately you'd be wrong. By being friends with your ex, you've taken yourself off the table as a romantic partner. So now it's going to be pretty difficult to put that genie back in the bottle. So for example, when trying to win back an ex, in-person meetings are essential to recreating the chemistry that you once had when you were dating. And if you've stayed friends with your ex and then seeing them in person, you again, won't have the same power as it would if you had successfully completed 30 days of no contact. So in this kind of situation, it's not just a matter of waiting things out and hoping your ex will suddenly come to their senses and beg you to take them back. You really need to completely change your approach. So sit down with them and make it clear that you want to be more than just friends. No contact is also off the table, as you can't really go from close friends to radio silence without making them seriously confused and upset. This is a risky move and one that could have been avoided, but it's definitely not hopeless. In fact, sometimes this is all it takes for your ex to really consider giving you another shot. Scenario number 6, your ex is now married to somebody else, they've got a restraining order against you, or they've passed away. Well, in this situation, of course, you need to accept that your ex is never coming back and that it's time for you to move on. Now, I do know this can be really hard to face, but if you look at it another way, it can be freeing. It's tempting to cling on to people from our past because we wish things could have been different. Unfortunately, really the only option we have in this kind of situation is just to move forward. All right, and that's about it for today's video, but let's talk here about you. Did I cover your scenario here? If not, I'd love to hear about your particular situation in the comments below. I do read and respond to as many as I possibly can. And while you're at it, hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps me out. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you again in my next video.